great, whatever. I personally watched it back. I thought I did pretty good. I think there's a few things
yeah, Ethan's that argument 100% undefeated.
Hasan goes, I says, why do you say I work with the ADL?
I says
Partnered.
And then he says, oh, that's not what I meant. Then I show him another clip that says, Ethan, partner with the ADL. I says, why'd you say that? I didn't mean that you're working directly with them. Who
would do that?
But how can I sit here
Who would lie like
and
that?
entertain somebody who's gaslighting me to my face live? He says, you're partnered with the ADL. And then he goes, I didn't mean partnered. There's no apology, no correction,
I mean, did he explain what he meant with that? He said that on the Steiny podcast? I didn't even watch that podcast. Hasan Steiny. I don't know, what is it called? One Night with Steiny? That sounds like the name of a court case when Steiny gets accused of date. The People versus One Night with Steiny. So the accusation is Hasan said partnering with the ADL. Okay, here we go.
And there are very prominent people who do this, right? So for him to constantly come after me when his knows I'm not anti-Semitic and making these inferences that I am and partnering with the ADL and
I think that he maybe looked at your relationship as a friendship too.
Yeah,
so maybe he thinks that you're not looking at his perspective.
Okay, so I guess there is no context there. He just says that he's coming after him and he's partnering with the ADL. Well, Ethan Klein said that I drew attention to this, the ADL applied pressure, and then he took credit for it. So, yeah, he worked with the ADL. They had a similar goal. He acknowledged the role that the ADL played. And then once the effects took place and Frogan and Denims and all of those other people got banned for a week and a half or a month or whatever, then Ethan took credit for it. So Hasan's example of saying, yeah, if I worked with a Nazi organization to get a Jewish synagogue taken down, and then I took credit for that, or if I brought attention to this and then I acknowledged that Nazi organizations were trying to bring down a prominent Jewish voice or something like that, and then I took credit for it afterwards, yeah, then you can say that I worked with the person. And Ethan Klein's just trying to smear Hasan as anti-Semitic for saying that when it's just undeniable. You can say you worked with, did he say you work for? No, because he didn't get paid by them. You can say you worked with the ADL.
retraction. And he has an audience of people that watch that who are like, yeah.
Plus saying it on other people's shows. So you're trying to spread this idea around.
It's
Ethan said it on his show.
Nobody could watch that and see that he's not lying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's like looking at the sky and Hasan's telling me it's purple. And I'm like, it's so insane. And you guys will see. Ian, God bless him. I gotta say, man, it's such a weird thing with Ian.
Bro, I gotta say, this is
he put
boring
out this Deputy, which is his follow-up to Content Cop. And I have to say, it's even worse than the first. I don't know who this guy is. He used to be the dude. It is. He used to be the dude that was looking at it from all angles, crossing his T's, dotting his I's, preempting, counter.
Weren't you the ones that agreed his original Content Cops were stupid? You're his original ones were so good. They were so charitable to the target. Ian said that, no, they were not charitable. And I did it maliciously.
Counterclaims.
This is not what podcasts are.
This is what podcasts are.
Oh my God.
Professional.
My favorite joke of this show is when they play a soundbite and Ethan gets into a conversation with an NPC.
Maybe. I don't know. I might have the most hit videos of anyone on YouTube at this point. Who has more?
Shane Dawson, probably.
I don't think so.
Everybody makes that.
What I've been able to manage is that I keep the hate videos coming, baby.
Well, Gabby Hanna. Oh, somebody said Gabby Hanna.
She's gone. Nobody's making hate videos on her.
An important part of this is you have to be relevant for this whole period.
Right. That's why the Paul brothers is a good.
Exactly. So it's a compliment too.
Me and the Paul brothers, man. I mean, kind of, right?
It's a compliment.
I don't know.
I think KB's right.
Listen, look at the cap.
Okay, and what are the lies that he's going to address?
Hi everyone, it's me again.
Stupid. Hi, everyone. Everyone.
Okay, maybe not.
Oh my God, bro.
There is.
Subscribe and like. Nah, hit that subscribe button, y'all.
To see
Smash it.
iDubbbz saying like, please, for the love of God.
Okay,
He says
here.
that. He goes, please, for the love of God, like
right,
this,
all right.
because
Well,
they're astroturfing the dislikes.
I purposely.
Bro, why you're watching the video? Save all of this shit for when you watch the video. What are the lies? You said you're addressing blatant lies. Are the blatant lies that you worked with the ADL? Because you said you did. Holy f***. You literally took credit for drawing attention of the ADL to these Twitch streamers, and then when the ADL applied pressure and got them banned, you're like, yeah, I did that. You literally said that.
So,
But there's almost so much to talk about. But yeah, the debate with Hasan, I mean, listen, reviewing it back
All right,
on,
here we
and
go.
again,
Reviewing the debate.
obviously I'm
you're gonna say you won?
I'm biased. No, but not only did I think I won, I think he I think he looked utterly. He's a liar. He's wrong about he's either lying or wrong about everything he says, pretty much. He's unwilling to acknowledge make one single concession, no matter how blaringly obvious it is.
Okay, Ethan.
Okay, he was baited into supporting terrorist groups, to doubling down on the Anne Frank thing.
Bro, you literally said you wouldn't support Anne Frank if she wrote she wanted to kill Germans or if she took up arms against Germans. I mean, Germans. Like, what? Hasan doubling down on the Anne Frank thing, and you're like, well, I mean, you say that you would support Anne Frank if she was militant and actually said that she wanted to kill Nazis. I wouldn't do that. The only reason I like her is because she's such a sweet person. What the f***, Ethan? What the actual f***? That's you don't want to bring that back up because that is not a good look for you. And what else did he say Hasan did?
Okay, Ethan.
Okay, he was baited into supporting terrorist groups.
I mean, I don't even know what he wants to say with that. He's going to say he was baited in supporting the Houthis' blockade on the Red Sea? Because yeah, he's always supported that. I don't know why you're acting like this is a new revelation. Hasan literally watched a video of the Houthis taking over a ship and said that was awesome. And you're like, oh no, Ethan Klein, used my debate tactics to reveal Hasan's true positions where he supported the Houthis' blockade on the Red Sea. No, okay, all right, whatever. Next, what else did you do?
Doubling down on the Anne Frank thing. To saying the Houthis should get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, I guess that's the same thing.
Yeah.
There is nothing redeeming about his performance. Now, you might.
Yeah, Ethan, you say you won the debate. You literally admitted that your wife was a terrorist in the conversation with Hasan. What the f? You conceded every single point up until the last little part where you're like, the Arabs did the Nakba, and that's why they're just as bad. I mean, he'd argue they're worse. Or the Arabs didn't do the Nakba. The Arabs did the Jewish exodus of Arab states. The fucking Arabs did that.
I think I did great, whatever. I personally watched it back. I thought I did pretty good. I think there's a few things
Yeah, Ethan's that argument 100% undefeated.
I think, listen, I did so much preparation for this, and it's clear he did none. That's how I do these.
If I may say so, as your wife.
Bro, it's so embarrassing. The preparation Ethan Klein did was getting clips of Hasan. That's what he's going to say the preparation was. Okay. I mean, once again, they didn't actually talk about any of the issues of Israel-Palestine. They didn't talk about... I think Hasan could have done more to prepare to have a conversation with Ethan, to call him out on his Zionist bullshit. Because there was even a point in the debate where Ethan's like, okay, how exactly am I Zionist? And then Hasan's just like, well, you've made the argument that, like, Hezbollah is... I mean, he said, like, some things... But it wasn't like it wasn't really down to the bone. He didn't cut to the base of it where he's like, you support Israel as an ethno-state. That's how you're Zionist. I really wanted Hasan to go on the offense there. And he's just like, oh, well, like, I don't even remember what he said. It was some example that I think he was talking about how, like, the Arab tier list thing. I think that might have been like the example Hasan gave of why he's Zionist.
I was very proud.
Thank you. And I feel like and you can see that I anticipated all of his dumb fucking points. Like, he tries to bust out this Avi Schleim thing, and I'm like, I already know everything about what you're going to say. And that happens so many times throughout, because he's so transparent. He gets all of his talking points from other people's essays.
That part for me was very surreal, to see somebody try to erase my my family's history.
Yeah, they left for Zionism.
Like,
Why
that's
can you
crazy.
not admit that Middle Eastern Jews are also victims? Because in their world, in their mind, Ducky, don't do it. Ducky,
No sniffing.
no sniffing, you turd. In their world, in the world of purity testing and grandstanding, of nuance is the devil. The Jews they can't be victims.
Nuance is the devil, but Sam Cedar dared to say that Hamas did some good things for the Palestinian people. But for Ethan Klein, he's like, why do all of these leftists hate nuance? Okay, dude, Hasan never said that Arab Jews were not victims of Zionism. They are victims of Zionism, and they're victims of the fascism that came as a result of Zionism in these Arab states. He never said that. What he said is that comparing the Nakba to the Jewish exodus of Arab states is like, that is Nakba revisionism. That is downplaying the Nakba. And you were also kind of justifying it because you're like, oh, well, the Jews went through something that was even worse because 900,000 Jews were expelled over 30 years, whereas only 750,000 Palestinians were ethnically cleansed by a single genocidal military apparatus in 12 months. So, or it was actually 9 months. So yeah, that's what Ethan is trying to do. That's what he got called out for. And then Hasan called him out for his racism when he's like, the fucking Arabs did the Jewish pogroms and the Jewish exodus into Israel.
They cannot be victims. The Israelis, they cannot be victims. Otherwise, it ruins everything. It's like, it's unreal. It's unreal.
Oh, and he doubled down on the as well.
He says all we have is circumstantial evidence, which, by the way, is how most people get convicted of.
That's an interesting point.
But
Yeah, but he also said that the Israeli an Israeli who was it? Like some kind of Israeli group said that they didn't have enough evidence to convict anyone. Like that's, so yeah, if you're going to say that circumstantial evidence is how people get convicted of, then you better have a lot of circumstantial evidence that can lead to convictions, and they didn't have any. And it's ironic that Ethan will sit there and say, oh, leftists always ask for pics or it didn't happen, when they literally have pictures of mutilated bodies, and that still didn't lead to conclusive evidence that the bodies underwent any kind of assault. It's like, yeah, there was some assault, but once again, the claim by Israeli politicians and by US politicians is that Hamas did like mass rapes, and there simply is no evidence of mass rapes. There is evidence of assault with like mutilated and stuff like that, and once again, that's not like conclusive that it was assault, because it could have been bullets, it could have been any number of other things, but that is evidence pointing towards sexual assault. But still, the insistence that it is a mass campaign is just, there is no evidence of that whatsoever. And once again, when Hasan's like, oh, you have an actual testimony of someone who was assaulted on October 7th, Ethan's like, yeah, I do. And then he plays testimony of someone witnessing sexual assault in captivity in Gaza.
besides the fact that these were people who are mutilated, burned alive, murdered, buried, he actually said the thing of, we need kits on these rotting cadavers who have already been desecrated for me to conclusively say there was, despite me showing them 4 first-hand accounts. And people are watching this.
I mean, you didn't.
It's so blackpilling. It's so blackpilling. The thing that I'm seeing throughout Hasan and now Ian's video is just the blatant, and you'll see how people have responded to some of this too and what they're posting about it. The blatant,
all right, let's get to it,
lying that happens. And it's so blatant that I feel like the people who are supporting them know it's a lie. Like they know it's not true, and they don't care.
Yeah, that was a hard realization for us, I feel like, over the time, like in the last year. At first you think like, oh, maybe they're misunderstood, or they just need to be corrected, they're wrong on something, and then like slowly you just realize like, no, they're just lying, and they're knowingly lying, and they're okay with it.
And their fans are okay with it.
And their fans are okay with it. I don't know.
I mean, guys, just keep in mind everything they say is a projection. They knowingly lie, and I also think they unknowingly unknowingly lie. I think they believe the lies that they tell themselves.
That I said something to Hasan during the debate, and I really think it's true. I'm not a liar.
Like, they literally just lied in this, where he's like, I showed them 4 first-hand accounts of a on October 7th, and it's like, all of those accounts you showed were of captivity in Gaza. Once Hamas took them hostages. That's what you showed them. If you say they're first-hand accounts of on October 7th, you are being a liar.
That's why I was able to pull up the content cop without fear and react to it live. Because I'm not a liar. Okay? Anything he shows, I could either he's got it wrong or I can explain it, whatever.
I mean, he is a liar, and the reason that he can explain it is that he's delusional. Also, he didn't pull up the content cop immediately and watch it just like without any reservations. He literally beat around the bush for like 20 minutes. Then once he started playing it, he paused it for another 15 minutes to get snacks and drinks, then played 15 minutes of it over the course of 2 hours, pausing it every 5 seconds to be like, wow, isn't Ian so ugly? Like, look at his haircut, look at his golden tooth, look at his outfit, isn't he a piece of shit? That was for 2 hours of the 15 minutes of the video that you got through. And then you had to watch it and then come in with prepared talking points the next day. Or like the following Monday.
Honest. Hasan is I don't know if he's pathological because he seems to do it very intentionally.
Right.
He's a liar.
Oh yeah, they watched it the night before.
That's why he can't watch this. That's why he can only watch it through the lens of somebody who's already edited it.
Bro, he just watched your content, you nuke. Why are you acting like he can't watch it when he literally just did?
Down and editorialized it. The dogs met each other. Rocky's in a little enclosure.
Yeah.
Rocky
Why do they bring their dogs to the studio? I'm actually confused by that.
is the cutest creature on the planet.
God, who gives a fuck?
We love it.
But guys, consider signing up for memberships. Helps me out, helps my editors out. Only $1 a month, so it's really not a big deal. Your name can be green. That will be cool. And thanks for watching, everyone.